I'm happy and honored to be here with you tonight to celebrate your graduation with you and your family. It is time to put your training to work. I have been a police officer for 24 years, and I'm going to share with you some of the struggles, challenges, and opportunities I have experienced along the way. I got married, graduated the Victoria Police Academy, and started working at the Kennedy Police Department all in the same week. Here I was, a 21-year-old newlywed cadet who thought I knew it all. My first night, I was handed the keys to a car and the map to the city. Once the deputies and troopers went home, it was just me, myself, and I out there. At about 3:30 in the morning, I was patrolling on Highway 181 at the Escondido Bridge, and I came across an ice chest laying in the road. I stopped to check it out, and when I opened it, it contained a toe, a human toe. Man, I freaked out. I had no idea why there would be an ice chest with a human toe in it. I didn't know what to do, but I did know that the police chief delivered newspapers early in the morning, and he had a radio in his truck. So I called him. When he made my location, I was quite frantic, and he very calmly said, "Boy, just calm down. We'll call a tow truck." Thank goodness departments are now required to do orientation and field training. While I have changed agencies, and wise, a few times since then, but I have learned a lot along the way. Being an officer in a rural community, you get exposed to every aspect of law enforcement. I had to work each case that I developed on my shift, and at that time, we did not have a field training program to guide us, so we had to learn as we go. Fortunately, today's equipment is much better, flashlights are much brighter, radios have better reception, and you have tasers available if your department allows them. I can remember my first car chase. I came to work early and jumped in with the sergeant. He always made me drive when I rode with him. While cruising through town looking for traffic violators, I observed a white Camaro doing donuts. Oh boy, the chase was on, and it was a go. We went in and out of neighborhoods at very high speeds, and finally, the guy in a Camaro crashed out in the yard. This was to be my very first police report to write. I completed the report, and it was promptly returned for corrections, but no hint as to what to correct. It went back and forth several times, and finally it was approved after what seemed like an eternity. What I did not realize at the time was how important doing a good detailed report was. All I could think about was getting back out there in my patrol car and stopping another violator. It took me a while to figure out I did not have to catch all the crooks in one shift. The criminals I did not catch that day would be there tomorrow. So remember, take your time, do your paperwork with passion and detail before you move on to the next thing. The information and evidence you obtain, provide, and process is critical to our justice system. It turned out the guy I chased that day would go on to commit other crimes, and that pursuit report helped in those cases. What an opportunity you have before you to have a positive impact on those you live with, you work with, and even those you negatively encounter as your job in law enforcement. We see so much on the news saying, why didn't that officer do it this way? Or he didn't have to do that. But I assure you, there are infinitely more stories of officers saving someone, playing basketball with a lonely child, or playing Santa for a troubled family. It is ironic. I wrote this speech before recent incidents in Missouri. We have seen emotional responses play out every night on our TVs from Ferguson. Although we face enormous challenges each day, we have to maintain our composure and professionalism. It is an awesome responsibility you have been charged with. Just know you will have struggles and challenges. You will go to work for a government agency. Recognize right away they have budgets. Limited budgets mean equipment isn't always as good as it could be or should be. Every agency in the world struggles with funding. Regardless of what equipment we have and what condition it is in, we have to adapt and figure out how to make it work to best serve our communities. Sooner rather than later, you will encounter a tug of war between your personal life and your duties as a police officer. You will be called into work at the most inconvenient times. You will miss holidays, some of your children's events, and many other things that most other people take for granted. Your dedication to serve your community and maintain peace and security is what will drive you. Your family may not always understand. You must find the balance. It is not easy having a loved one as a peace officer. You will struggle and be frustrated with decisions that are not yours to make. For example, you may be upset with a verdict handed down from a judge or a jury. At these times, I urge you to know you did everything in your power to present the best case possible. Do your part, collect the information, the evidence, and complete your paperwork. What happens after you present it to the prosecuting attorney is out of your control. You will struggle with decisions, orders, and policies. If you don't understand something, never be afraid to ask for clarification. It is your obligation to know department and city policy, penal code, laws, and ordinances. It makes decisions easier, and it is your job to know. You will struggle with the enormous amount of authority you have as a peace officer. Always, always, always treat people with respect, dignity, and compassion. You are usually dealing with people at their most negative moments in life, whether it is a simple traffic stop or a felony. Treat everyone you encounter with dignity and respect. Most of the complaints I have seen as a police officer and as a police chief have come from people who've had a run-in with a badge-heavy police officer that had a because I can attitude. How would you want your most beloved family member, maybe someone who's with you here tonight, to be treated by a police officer? I recommend you start every encounter that way. I am not saying you should sing Kumbaya with everyone. There are people we all run into that no matter how well we treat them, they will put up a fight and try to control the situation. You will have to maintain peace and control, which may require you to raise your voice or go hands-on to de-escalate the situation as soon as possible. But always conduct yourself with honor and respect. You will struggle with finances. Face it, this career does not pay near enough for what peace officers face day in and day out. I certainly didn't become a police officer because I thought I was going to make a fortune and retire. I truly feel God led me to this job, a higher calling that you all have if you remain in this field of work. It is a call to serve and protect. You will struggle with the mistakes you make. Take responsibility for them. Learn from them. Try your best not to repeat them. You will second guess what you have done and what you have not done.